morning, Gate City Rotary. Look at the smile on Chip's. This is unbelievable. That guy can't contain himself. And like we said last Wednesday, happiest guy in the room. You guys are just now realizing, oh snap, Walt's our president. And not only that, we've got back-to-back years of tennis being your president. The reign of terror begins. Let's pass out our invitation.
So that I know that an invocation is more commonly thought of as a request for something or for some entity or higher power. The other day I was thinking about the value of my friendships in my life and thought it was appropriate in this setting to reflect upon how our friends can provide such assistance. So I got some quotes here that I like. I don't need a friend who changes when I change and who nods when I nod. My shadow does that much better. Plutarch. I never considered a difference of opinion in politics, in religion, or in philosophy as a cause for withdrawing from a friend. Thomas Jefferson. If we listened to our intellect, we'd never have a love affair, we'd never have a friendship, we'd never go into business because we'd be cynical. Well, that's nonsense. You've got to jump off cliffs all the time and build your wings on the way down. Ray Bradbury. Lots of people want to ride with you in the limo, but what you want is someone who will take the bus with you when the limo breaks down. Oprah Winfrey. It's more shameful to distrust our friends than to be deceived by them. Confucius. The friend in my adversity I shall always cherish most. I can better trust those who help to relieve the gloom of my dark hours than those who are so ready to enjoy with me the sunshine of my prosperity. Ulysses S. Grant. I'm getting near the end. Don't flatter yourselves that friendship authorizes you to say disagreeable things to your intimates. On the contrary, the nearer you come into relation with a person, the more necessary do tact and courtesy become. Oliver Wendell Holmes. I have a loyalty that runs in my bloodstream. When I look into someone or something, you can't get me away from it because I commit to it thoroughly. That's in friendship, that's a deal, that's a commitment. Don't give me a paper. I can get the same lawyer who drew it up to break it. But if you shake my hand, that's for life. Jerry Lewis. And lastly, for prayer is nothing else than being on terms of friendship with God. Saint Teresa of Avila. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And for the things we think, say, and do,
Is the truth, is fair to all concerned, will it build goodwill and better friendships, will it be beneficial to all concerned.
Christy, you have our sergeant.
Stretch them. Good morning, everybody. We have 45 members in attendance this morning, which is probably the highest number that I've been able to announce. We have 3 guest rotarians with us this morning. Cindy Hewitt from Summit Rotary. Doug Duray from Summit. From Guilford. And Jeff Tillman has a guest.
my guest is, stand up Danielle, she brought the cookies, everybody. Guest brought cookies, first time. And thank you, and tell them a little bit about yourself.
Good morning, everyone. First off, I wanted to ask the statement, or put the statement out there. How many of us have thought of the need for having more time in the day? Well, you're in luck. My name is Danielle Eakin, and I'm with Work Life Solutions. We're a personal assistant business designed to meet the needs of the busy individual. So as a way to say thank you for allowing me to be your guest, as Jeff said, I brought you cookies, so please enjoy.
And then Matthew has 2 special guests with him this morning.
I do. Good morning, everybody. Marley had an early meeting this morning, so I got the pleasure to bring them both. I know Charlotte gets to come, but for Sadie, she was very excited on the way here this morning. Charlotte filled her in the entire car trip here, what to do and what not to do. So this morning I have Charlotte and Sadie, and I know they're both very excited to be here, even though they're very quiet right now.
And you guys, please be on good behavior. Cindy is the Citrus District Governor, and don't want to do the usual shenanigans. No, just kidding. Anyway, birthdays and anniversaries. Rick?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Right here, we've got a couple today there, Mr. President. We have one club anniversary, Dr. Mavondo. I know he is here. Right here. There you go, up front. Guy, how many, my man?
More than
You're gonna need both hands in the front. Huh?
10?
Close, you needed a foot, that was a hint. More than 10? 12.
Oh, 12.
12, that's exactly right. All right. And we got a member birthday today, and we would get to sing, but I don't think he has shown up. Rusty? Ah, darn, I was all tuned up and ready to go. So, Mr. President, that's the last one for today, sir.
Fantastic. Last Wednesday night, I know a lot of you guys were there at Starmount. We had our change in the guard and gave out some special awards and some special recognitions. Just so everybody will know, the President's Award was given to two guys that were kind of up for anything and always willing to step in and pretty much took part in every service project and helped with everything we did throughout the year. That was Matthew Foster and Steve Scott. Matthew, I think we should just probably name it the Matthew Foster Award. Rotarian of the Year was Chris Justice. The guy's stepping up big time this year and is on the pathway now to become district governor. Let's see, Rookie of the Year was David Lillard. Did a fantastic job and is now stepping up to a leadership role in the club. And really excited to have him around. Board Member of the Year, Tom Richardson, who pretty much, as our treasurer, has made things go seamlessly with getting checks out there and revamping the book. He's just done a fantastic job cleaning things up and getting our books straight. There's also another award that was not able to be given out that night, and I'd like to call on Chip to do that now.
You know, one of the distinctions we love to hand out at the end of the year is the, especially in the spirit of Rotary, is the Service Above Self Award. And I'm going to need to take just a minute to find out where he is. But everybody who knows Dale Hurley, go ahead and swallow and then come on up front. So Dale Farlow has spent his vacation for I don't know how many summers going to Guatemala to help install high-efficiency stoves and clean water systems. Has been 5 summers, 7. There's a man who has given deeply of himself to help other people, and I think that would easily qualify anyone for the Service Above Self Award. Dale, thank you on behalf of the board. Thank you for what you've done. He tried to dodge me at the changing of the guard, but we're persistent, aren't we, Walt?
Absolutely. Sooner or later, you're going to get recognized for the good and the bad, right? There was also one other special award that we haven't given out before. It was a special commendation for 20 years of service to our club. And it was given to Grandpappy Lewis, but Buster accepted. It was a great time. Buster was there in a seersucker suit. It was given to him by another special Rotarian. That's a whole other story. But you know, we're really lucky to have Buster in this club. He's the guy that kind of kicked off this whole happy dollar thing. That's now a big deal, you know, everywhere in Rotary. So, at any rate, see Buster, give him a pat on the back. Let's see, there are a couple of announcements. Family of Rotary Night at the Grasshopper Stadium is July 25th. We got the notice yesterday that the deadline for this is yesterday. But if anybody would like to go to this, anybody who like baseball and willing to go to a Hoppers game on the 25th, the idea is that out of every $10 ticket, $2 goes to literacy programs. So they're hoping for a big turnout from local Rotary clubs. At any rate, I'll send out an email, or Guy will send out an email later today, and we'll try to get there. I know they'll be glad to have us, and we can still get in on the whole, $2 for literacy programs. That won't be a problem. There are fireworks that night after the show, so it should be a lot of fun. There's a Get to Know Rotary event after our meeting on the 25th. So if you have a guest that maybe shows some interest, or somebody you would like to bring to a meeting, they can kind of get to know more about Rotary, our club, and Rotary International in general. It's a short little gathering, 15 to 20 minutes after the meeting on July 25th. Guy's going to have a terrific program for us that day. Everybody's jaw is going to drop. It's going to be incredible. And so hang around for an extra 15 minutes afterward. That'd be great. Other announcements in the club? Nothing? How about some happy dollars?
Happy dollars, that's what I'm talking about. Got one? Brand new year here. Mark, I was gonna call you anyway since I saw you in a magazine, so.
Oh, I wouldn't mention that.
Yeah.
All right, so a couple happy dollars. One, many of you saw my wife at Changing the Guard, which, if you don't know, she had a hip replacement 3 weeks ago today. And she's doing great. Changing the Guard was the first time she left the house. She told me that was a really bad idea, but she was there. I'm just kidding. She's doing great, so that's one of my happy dollars. The other happy dollar is a salute. Ralph and I had the opportunity to play our tennis team made to the state championships. Ralph went 3-0, by the way. He did really well. So we didn't win the whole thing, but it was a wonderful experience. Had a great time. But we do have one special request. We need one more lucky Rotarian to join that team, so we got makeups done while we're playing tennis. So, and then, one other thing, we were in the Henry magazine this week, so take a look, and you might learn something you didn't know about me.
Oh,
City Swim Meet, Danielle reminded me that they just finished up. There's like 21, 22 teams, hundreds of swimmers. A lot of y'all probably have been through the drill there, but Friendly Frogs again, my little pool, we finished #1. And we have a little song, Danny Farley, you're a frog, Friendly's #1. Can't be #2. So anyway. Frog Boogaloo, right? There you go.
Another item on my bucket list is gonna be done this weekend. I'm heading out tomorrow to Toronto for the IndyCar races. They race around the streets of Toronto, 200 plus miles an hour. It's gonna be great, and hopefully I'll be in good shape when I come back.
That's combining two of your favorite things, Toronto and racing. It's like
A few happy dollars. Hopefully by the end of today, I'll have the starts of a kitchen again and a kitchen sink. Cooking in the bathroom is I'm really getting tired of renovation. Another thing is, I was showing some property yesterday in some remote part of Alamance County, and vacant land property, and met my client, the listing agent there. We had got him in Gator, and then he had to show us all the perimeters of the property we're walking through, and he goes, I'm telling you, the trees are thick here. And, they've got this new Asian tick or something, and they've got Lyme disease and everything. Man, I had Lyme disease a couple of years, swelled up everything, arthritis. Oh, dear God. And there's one thing I hate. I mean, some people are afraid of snakes, spiders, ticks, or like the grossest thing. So I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to be cool and thinking, sweet Jesus, don't let and, and you can't be pulling up your pants and stuff. So I got home yesterday midday. It's like, God, I had to look to make sure. Happy dollars, of course.
Yeah.
No tickets.
This happy dollars for my son Sean. He decided to, when he graduated, he decided to do something a little different after he got out of NC State this summer. He was a biker, what do you call it, a rickshaw bicycler downtown. That was his job this summer. And he was training, and right now he's on a 600-mile ride from Mississippi up to, lower Mississippi up to St. Louis. on an adventure with some compassionate people that are doing a Liking for Babies kind of fundraiser to support alternatives to abortion.
All right. Danny, be sure he disconnects the rickshaw before he does that. At any rate, a lot of you guys know I took a golf trip to Scotland a couple weeks ago with my son and a couple of my best friends. Best vacation ever. My son shot 78 the last day of Trust Week. It was incredible. So he had the best time ever. Said it was his best vacation ever, which is saying a lot because he's been a lot of places I have. And speaking of golf, I can slip this in. The Ray Harris District Golf Tournament is September 12th. Hoping Frank is going to play. Hoping Dave is going to play. Need a couple other golfers. So please let me know or let somebody know if you're willing to do that September 12th. It's a fun time. I've done it before.
Hey. I just wanted to fully introduce Doug DeRay. He's not only a visiting Rotarian from Summit, he's also the newest member of Spartan Branding. So he comes to us with a ton of experience, brand management, content marketing, business development, and we're glad to have him. So thank you.
Well, a little diversion here. There's no Grandpappy Lewis, but I think maybe I'm becoming a little bit more like Grandpappy Lewis. I was at Home Depot the other day. I was at the return counter, and this guy, probably about my age, comes up, and man, he is ranting and raving. He is just unglued. He said, "I've been walking around this store for an hour looking for this thing. And these poor little girls are trying scurrying around, he's getting madder and madder. So, you know, me, the helpful guy, I pull out my phone and I said, you ought to get this app on your phone, this Home Depot app. You just punch in what you're looking for and it tells you the aisle of the thing. I don't have a smartphone. And I don't have a computer. And I said, you know, something to the effect of, you know, I said, wow, it's a really helpful thing. I use it all the time. And so he turns to me and he said, and I don't walk around looking at my phone all day like you do. And I was going, okay, let's see where this is going. And I said, you know, and I haven't just walked around Home Depot for an hour looking for an item that I'll carry in the store. Home Depot Employee of the Month,
Buster, were you wearing your orange jacket?
They gave me a vest.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Our guest today is Dr. John Jenkins. Full disclosure, Dr. Jenkins used to be my primary physician and my wife Sue's primary physician. Dr. Jenkins is the Chief Clinical Officer for Connected Care at Cone Health. He leads Cone Health's Connected Care Division, which leverages virtual care technology to explore and uncover new approaches to delivering exceptional care. He began his administrative role as Cone Health's Vice President and Executive Medical Director of the Primary Care Collaborative, which is a workshop for lean transformation of primary care delivery. He serves today as the Senior Vice President in Cone Health's administrative team. And before his healthcare career, he taught high school physics and chemistry while earning a master's in educational administration. He's led a bunch of forums, which is a whole bunch of letters here, which mean nothing to me. I'm not even going to read them off. He is currently pursuing an executive strategy certificate from Columbia University in digital health strategy. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. John Jenkins.
So I feel like hopefully this is not going to be the best PowerPoint, but Combs Firewalls caused me to have to go to my personal email account through the random O. Henry account. So God knows when I get back to the office, the IT people are going to be hunting me down. I'm very thankful to come and talk to you a little bit about how digital consumerism is changing the face of healthcare and how we're trying to customize healthcare more towards you as individuals rather than populations. So it's an exciting time. I'm also happy to see some of my old neighbors and some of my old patients who are here. I do have a problem in Home Depot. When I run into old patients in Home Depot, I get hunted down in corners and they tell me all their problems. I exerted them, so Home Depot is a scary place for many of us. I also want to mention that when you get that tick bite in the corner of Alamance County, we do provide virtual video visits from even that corner of Alamance County, and we can handle a tick bite. So a little bit about Cone Health. So Cone Health has undergone some really remarkable changes over the past 10 years. It has been led by cultural transformation of who we are and who we are being. It has been led by the fact that we have asked doctors to rise to leadership positions and nurses and PAs and physical therapists within a clinical environment and lead the Cone Health to higher standards of quality and more focused on the people we serve in our community. We have changed our brand promise, and some of you have heard that over the last year, and have focused on you. And our brand promise is we are right here with you because we want to be the network that is with you. Some of you have seen some of the remarkable achievements that has happened by the individuals who make up Cone Health, being listed in the top 10, top 50, top 100 hospitals in the United States, and in the top 1,000 hospitals in the world. And so that has been a remarkable transformation, but it's a transformation based upon people focused on serving people. And our purpose is to connect health and well-being. Well, of course, it probably won't. But we'll make it without it. So if you could see the PowerPoint, you would see 3 giant circles. One of the circles is consumerism, one of the circles is digital health, and one of the circles is value-based care. So what the heck is value-based care? So when I started my journey as a physician, it was based upon knowing how to code, put a CPT code into the computer, link it to a bunch of diagnoses and submit a charge. And I was paid per episode of care for you. So if you have a sore throat, I saw you as a sore throat. If you had a sprained ankle, I saw you as a sprained ankle. And we focused on that. There's been a transformation in healthcare over the last few years, and it's ongoing, to a concept of value-based care. Value-based care is talking about the total cost of delivery and who you are as an individual. So we're moving from events and episodes of care to total care, or looking at you as a complete being and looking at you in your whole environment. And then that allows us to innovate in certain areas. When I was practicing, I had to keep the lights on by seeing 26 people a day. And I had to do those charges, had to get the charges in right, because if I didn't get the charges in right, I couldn't pay for the receptionist, I couldn't pay for the check-in, check-out person, my manager, the medical records person, the lab person. And all of those were driven by me being on a treadmill running as fast as I can. I would try to spend as much time as I can with my patients, and I was often very late. Many of them tolerated that because I would try to stay in the room as long as I could. But it was a treadmill because I couldn't focus on delivering care to individuals. The change that's occurring in healthcare, that's radically changing the way we approach healthcare, is looking at you as, how do we manage you as an individual? And then that lets us innovate. So if I can do an e-visit, which costs $30, the system doesn't make a lot of money on it. If we save in the total cost of care, then we create a margin in your total expense. Cone Health is now at risk for 55% of the lives we cover. What does that mean? That means that we are partners with you for 100% of the cost of your care. That allows us to innovate in areas to deliver care more effectively, more efficiently, and more conveniently. Do you know what the #1 driver of choice in healthcare is today? Convenience. Convenience. Of all consumers across all age groups, it is the #1 reason that they leave or choose a healthcare provider. cost is there, quality is there, but increasingly quality is table stakes. So there is a revolution in the way that we create loyalty and we create relationships. I'm of the generation where I want a doctor, I want a relationship, I want to know what I am seeing. Our millennial population, which is now the largest single group of our population, does not think that way. They are driven primarily by convenience. They have lived their entire life digitally, and believe it or not, they will not pick up the telephone and call. They will either digitally text you or they will see you face to face, but less than 10% of them are willing to make a call. It's amazing when you look at these statistics. So that takes us to the next big circle, which is consumerism. How many of you have Amazon? How many of you have Amazon Prime? Why do you pay for Amazon Prime? You get it a day sooner, right? And so this immediacy in our culture has taken over, and it drives us to actually pay a little bit more for services if we can get it one day sooner. I don't think the drapery rods I ordered for our mountain house getting here a day sooner impacted my life. I sure was happy I could do it. So the things that drive us in consumerism are the change in the way we interact in our lives with our purchases and with all of our transactions. Healthcare in some ways is transactional. And so consumerism is driving transactional healthcare. And we have to understand how we can provide convenient care that you want to have. And in some cases, are willing to pay a little bit more for. So that brings into the fact that we have now retail healthcare. And so we have to have different venues by which we serve our customers. How many have seen the little shop across from a Target called Instacare? Have you seen that sign? If you haven't, you can go there very conveniently. That is a new prototype of a retail clinic. We have a lot of people with high deductible plans. Maybe they have to spend $4,000 before they can activate their insurance. And so it's costly for them to see me in a traditional environment, because a new patient coming into a traditional environment generates a charge of over $350. Now insurance only pays $180 of that, but if you're a customer and you've not met your deductible, you're responsible for the entire amount. That's the crazy system we have right now. You can go to Instacare for $69, all inclusive, including your laboratory testing. And so we are designing ways to reach consumers in the way where they live and meet their needs, because some people don't get care because of cost. I was in Maria's. I love Maria's. I go to Maria's and grab lunch as often as I can. Shouldn't, but I do. And in Maria's, they have a lot of young people who work on the desk. And one of those young persons who's 22 years of age, just graduated from college, hasn't got insurance yet, was talking to me about, Dr. Jenkins, can you help me? You know, I said, this is not exactly the appropriate way for a visit here, but I can send you to Instacare and you can have this at an affordable rate. So we did, and we got treated, and he sent me a lovely email thanking me for helping him to find that. Otherwise, he would have gone untreated. He had strep throat. Do you know the complications of strep throat in a food server? So having access to health care is pretty important. The other big bucket is digital. So technology is changing the way. So I was listening to that story about the curmudgeon in Home Depot, and I was really worried it was one of my former patients, because I had a discussion with one of my former patients exactly like that, because I was trying to get him to sign up for my chart. He said, I don't use those damn smartphones. But the truth is, the majority of us do. And increasingly across all age groups, we do. And that is ubiquitous. It's in our hand all the time. I hate that new thing on my iPhone that tells me how many hours I've been looking at it. Oh, it makes me feel really mad at myself when I see that. But we do interact with our smartphones all the time. So this becomes a place where we can interact now with our providers. so what we have developed at Cone Health is 2 types of visits currently. One is called an e-visit, which you log into MyChart, you fill out a questionnaire, you submit it. It's reviewed by a practitioner who then submits a care plan to you that may or may not include an antibiotic or something or a prescription, depending upon what we've assessed you to have. We treat 28 common conditions, including tick bites, and rashes and coughs and common things that we can do by interviewing process. We also have video visits now that you can, from any place, 24/7, 365 days a year, contact a physician, have a conversation with a physician about a healthcare condition. Now, we don't treat everything. I'm going to tell you some background information, and by sharing with you background information, I have to submit you to a HIPAA violation and also a non-disclosure agreement. So we've all signed that. In the background, how do we make that work safely for you? Does anybody know the concept of a red word? So a red word is a word that sets off an alarm. And so what we have determined in healthcare through analysis and data analysis is that there are certain red words which tell us you need a face-to-face visit. And so we have those built into our questionnaires, and we analyze the free text comments you put, and we look for red words that tell you, hey, we need to come in, we need to see each other face-to-face. Otherwise, if they're absent, we can treat you through this methodology, through a virtual methodology. Is it the right thing to do? It most definitely is. It was a hard thing for me as an internist because I'm an internist. I was taught by my first mentor that no matter what condition you came in to see me for, I was going to touch you because we had to create that physical contact, right? But I also know that we did a lot of things in my practice that were real expensive. And so those expensive things were that I would order a CT scan of your sinuses when you had sinusitis. You know, and $450 later, I said, hey, you got sinusitis, here's your antibiotic. And what we have determined, and I just set for my internal medicine boards again, and in there were questions about that were, what tests should you and should you not order? And CDC.gov clearly now states that, which is Center for Disease Control, that we diagnose sinusitis based upon how long you've had the symptoms, your severity of symptoms, and associated complications like fever, headache. And that's the way we diagnose sinusitis, not by a CT scan, which is expensive. So the paradigm is changing, and now we're back full circle to value. So what we're seeing now is consumerism, digital health, and the value proposition pushing us into technology. What I was here to talk to you about is the hospital of the future. In the NICU at our hospital, have you seen a baby? Have you seen pictures of it? The baby has the respirator on, wires covering the entire body, little things on their tiny appendages trying to measure their oxygen levels, and tubes go over. That interferes with the connection between the baby and the baby's environment, especially the baby and the mother. Today, at UCLA Hospital, they're experimenting with a single patch that's 2 inches long to replace 95% of those connections. Okay. So then the mother can pick up the child, can hold the child, can touch the child can be touched by others, the child isn't feeling like they're connected by wires to their environment. This is how technology is disrupting the way we deliver care. Today we have an app called WellSmith. And WellSmith we use to manage diabetes. It's connected Bluetooth to a glucometer, and you touch, you don't have to stick yourself anymore, you touch the patch you have on there for your reading. It is connected to a Fitbit, so we know how many steps you get in, and we can monitor your sleep through that. And it's connected to a scale, so we weigh your weight. More importantly than that, it is connected to a live care team that you text with and interact with. And you can do it continuously. What we found is that that creates a high rate of engagement between the customer, the patient, and our team. What we've also found is that people start doing what they're supposed to do. So they start taking their medicines, they start monitoring, they start reacting to the, hey, I wonder what I did to make my sugar high. And they can ask somebody, oh, you went for Mexican food. What part of that don't you understand? You know? So you have this ability to interact and understand and link consequences. And it's something we call activating the consumer. This is going to radically change outcomes. I'm going to tell you a story about a girl named Sue. She woke up one morning and she wasn't feeling really well. Blood pressure was a little bit elevated. She had hypertension. Speech was a little bit slurred, but she went out and put her dog out. All of a sudden, she felt really like one side was weak. Called her daughter. Her daughter said, I'm going to call 911. Called 911. The ambulance came. Took about 25 minutes to get to the hospital. All told, it was over an hour by the time she got to the hospital. She got her CT scan. It was too long. She couldn't have any sort of anticoagulant therapy for the stroke. She completed the stroke and had paralysis for the rest of her life. We can change that story. If that girl named Sue was a part of our home monitoring program, and she had a blood pressure cuff that was digitally sending information to a care team that alerted to her, hey Sue, your blood pressure is trending up. And Sue called the care team because they had a conversation with them, and a analysis of her voice told the care team there is slurring of her voice at an early stage. And then an algorithm kicked in with blood pressure, slurring of voice, her past medical history, her genetics, her current medications, all being analyzed and saying, this is a possible event. We need to get Sue to see a provider. She has a video chat with the provider right then. The provider says, Sue, I think you're having a stroke. I'm going to call code stroke. We're going to transport you to the hospital. En route to the hospital, everything is arranged. So she doesn't go through the ED. She goes straight to the CT scan, making sure there's not a bleed. And from there, she gets her anticoagulant and the stroke is prevented. We can do this now. The only thing that prevents us from doing this now is operationalizing it and changing the way we reimburse healthcare. But that technology exists. I want to take you to another future. Let's go to the hospital of the future. What is it going to look like? So you're going to walk into the hospital. Tom, you have a aortic valve replacement schedule. And so Tom's going to come into the hospital of the future, and he's going to walk up to a thing that looks like the Ritz-Carlton. And he's going to look at a screen, and facial recognition is going to identify him as Tom. Completely pull up all his records, everything's in the back. An artificial intelligence that he won't detect from a human is going to interact with him and say, Tom, your room's been prepared for you, we've been expected you, go up to room 521. He's going to get to 521, the room's going to greet him. Hey Tom, put that little wristband on. Your nurse is going to be Mary Scott, your doctor is going to be Dr. Jenkins. They'll be here very shortly. I want to tell you about all the features of your room and tell you about your stay. And you can ask me any question and I'll respond to it. Because that AI in the background knows all of Tom's history, knows Tom's family, knows that his daughter wants to be involved in the conversation when the doctor arrives. When the doctor arrives in the room, the artificial intelligence announces, Dr. Jenkins is here. Tom, this is your doctor, who's going to do your surgery. He talks to the doctor. In the background, Tom, we've connected your daughter. She wanted to be involved in the conversation. She's now on the audio. So the family now is conversing, everything's been done. A biologically identical heart valve is being printed in a 3D printer while all this is going on. He's prepared for his surgery. He's taken down with very precise robotic surgery with a tiny incision, and instead of his chest cut from here to here. His valve replacement is completed. He's back in the room. Tom's ready to go home. So Tom has a little bit of an issue with arthritis in his knee, and at his house he's got 10 steps to come up, and all of his showers are tub showers, and he has to step up with a tub shower. So we know Tom's home because we have this information in the background that's shared with all the providers. We also know that Tom currently lives alone, and that his daughter is employed and has a job at the coast. So she's really not available to help him that much. So now we know what resources Tom needs to be safe at his discharge. So perhaps Tom needs to go to a rehab facility for a couple of days where they train him how to be able to be safe, and we send a team to his house to put in an arm bar at his shower and to put in new rails on his steps going up to his house so he's safe in his house. And we arrange for a caregiver to visit him on a regular basis. We also install a digital tablet at his house so that he can communicate with his care team and be safe at home. Dramatic change in outcomes. All of these technologies exist today. All we have to do is find a way of funding them and making them part of our healthcare system. So that's the exciting thing about what I do. And it's going to disrupt the way we deliver care. It's going to disrupt outcomes for the better. And I think it's going to disrupt cost. Significantly disrupt cost as we do that. Now, what are the barriers to this? Insurance. Our insurance companies, I won't even get started on Terry Aiken's conversations with the state going on right now. But the fight that we have with getting insurance companies to pay for innovative, different care. The change management of old goats like me. Because doctors have always done it one way. Trust me, I have tomatoes thrown at me sometimes. When I walk into a room and say, "You steal my easy visits with your damn e-visits." I look forward to those sore throats. Guys, it takes you 6 weeks to get a patient in. Why are you complaining that I think your sore throat is away from you? Because we have to understand how we influence flow, and we use our talents and abilities at the top of our licensure. And so that paradigm of changing, and it's all shaped by rewards. The guy that taught me how to be an executive gave me one thing that changed my life permanently. He told me, show me an incentive and I'll show you a behavior. And I think about that in everything I do, that we as human beings need an incentive. So anyway, that's what I want to share with you about where we're headed. It's an exciting journey. And part of that journey involves you. So for us to know how to do this, we have to use something called design thinking. And design thinking, the key part is that the customer, the consumer, the patient is a part of the process. I'm involved in a new app that we're putting out, and we're in what we call beta testing right now. And in beta testing, we have people who are on the app today, experiencing it, giving us feedback every day about what's happening. Sometimes we videotape them and we watch where their eyes go to see if we put the buttons in the right place. And then we question them about their experience. And most importantly, we ask one question. Do you feel happier on this app than you felt without it? Because that's the goal of everything that we bring forward for the future. We fail if I can't get you to answer the question, hey John, you deployed this technology and I feel safer and healthier because of it. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Doctor. We have one more little duty for you here. You have to pick a card.
Uh-oh.
Take it for a Queen of Hearts, Your Honor. So, they are very informative, something that affects everybody. Can you read out the last four there?
Okay. 4515. There you go.
Come on up. Guys, one more thing before we take off. One more quick item of business. Chip already picked up his plaque last Wednesday, but it was a very, very small token of what this club owes him. This guy has done so much, and I'm starting to understand the kind of work that goes into this gig. And Chip, you've done an amazing job, and I just want to say thank you for holding my hand for the last part. Just another 12 months, and I'll leave you alone, I promise. But thanks for doing such a fantastic job for us. Please. Thank you. You guys, please check your calendars for that golf tournament, especially you guys that actually play golf.
Nice to meet you.
Judy, come on.